Alright, for this video, we're going to be going over rebuild versus contend and the third category, which is house money. Uh, and we'll start with, well, the main point of this video is going to be going over when you should, what you should do, what a team in each category looks like, and then we'll go through the league. I'm here with Mystery Meat 17. He's going to go over his team, and I'm going to go over my team, and then we'll pick another team out for house money, and we'll go from there. So we'll start off with my team, Dark Knight Rises. It's in the contending category. Uh, I mean, there's not much more to say. It's got all the pieces that you would want to contend and go for a run. Um, yeah, it was just built that way. It took a couple years of rebuilding and getting there, and now we're here. Had a really good 2023 draft where I got Stroud, Robinson, Gibbs. Who else did I get? Jackson Smith Najigba, uh, and other players, I guess, and slowly built it up. Actually, somewhat rapidly built it up from the ground, and now it is where it is. Um, a contender is a team that probably has a mixture of older but win now assets and younger, just really good players that are going to push you over the top to win. Picks don't necessarily matter as much for a contending team. If they feel like they're going to contend, you should be ready and willing to trade picks away for contending pieces. And with that,
Yeah,
we will go to, well, if you want to comment, Mystery Meat.
yeah. So one thing that was interesting about your entire rebuild is you decided to do it off of a season where you went to the championship and lost in a rather unfortunate way. Um, which I mean that was a bold choice for sure, but given your roster construction at the time, you obviously felt that it wasn't good enough to repeat, and maybe that was an outlier of a year. And you decided to just blow it up with all of your aging out assets, and yeah, you hit the rebuild button and you're able to draft really well and make some good trades, and now your team is where it is right now.
Yep. And even as a rebuilder, I still got a lot of young assets. That's like the best position you can be in, but a lot of times it doesn't work out that way.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep. Obviously, a lot of favorable trades for you. Stuff has worked out really well. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, that's all I have to comment on for that.
yeah. I would say the only weakness in my team right now is not having that star QB. I've got some good ones, but not like that star one right now.
Yeah,
But
I would agree.
with that being said, let's go to Mystery Meat 17's team.
So my team right now, I would say, I mean, there could be an effort put forth either way. My team is kind of in a middle ground right now. I moved off of George Kittle, obviously on draft night, and was able to land Colston Loveland with a pick and got Nico Collins. As far as that move, that just gave me a lot more, I want to say, liquidity here, able to move that asset for other pieces a lot easier than I was. Kittle is still a pretty good trade for obviously Jesse here, but he was able to get a star tight end. But yeah, looking at my team, it is honestly like one player away from being bottom of the barrel rebuilding. Um I came off of back-to-back championships and had won a championship a couple years before that. And I kind of took a look at my team and realized that I was not going to stack up to the contenders as much as I would like to, and I wouldn't be able to maneuver around as much as I liked. And I had some players who were starting to get aged in advanced age, and some players that I didn't think could repeat their success as well as they have in years past. So I decided to retool, and this is kind of where I've ended up, and at the point where I'm gonna probably need to take a couple seasons to replenish my players and rebuild.
Yeah. Yeah, and I
Uh,
mean, yeah, you're kind of in that middle ground house money, so you could, like, let's say some players pop off, you could be really good this year, but if it's starting to go bad, you could start trading away pieces too.
yeah, one thing I think that's very important is I need to be able to keep my options open here. I mean, obviously, you look at my team, and I've got two good dynasty quarterbacks. I've got obviously a couple top receivers and a couple guys there, but the glaring hole is at running back. There's barren wasteland there with Jalen Warren and Travis Etienne being my best two there. But if you're gonna go for a rebuild, you probably shouldn't have any good running backs on your team since they tend to age out a lot sooner than wide receivers will.
Yeah, they're glass cannons for sure. When they're good, they hold up there with the most value, and people want them so bad. But when they're bad, they are worth nothing.
Yeah, yeah. One player that I'm kind of reminded of with that is Nick Chubb. If you look back maybe 2 years ago, he would have been worth at least a first round pick, maybe even slightly more. But nowadays, he's nothing just because of that leg injury
Yeah.
and his advanced age,
Yep.
which, if we look at him now, he's probably not even. Let's see, Nick Chubb is. Oh, he's 29 years old. Never mind. He's
Which is
up
pretty
there.
decently old for a running back. A lot of touches, a lot of physical football that he's played.
Yeah, it's not like he was a speed back, he was a power back, so he's taken a lot of a beating.
Yeah. Another one, even on a smaller end, is Kendre Miller. You drafted him in the second round. He was worth a second round pick a while back. And I mean,
Yeah, it
it's
has
just,
not worked out.
yeah, he's probably worth like a late third to fourth round pick at this point,
Yeah,
if
he's kind
anyone
of one.
would give
Yeah,
you
he's
that.
kind of one of those players at this point that you're just fine with holding because it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna get the value for him that you would want to move off of him, so you're just kind of fine with holding him and seeing what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, like I said, house money here, so you could go either way. And at honestly, though, you have to kind of make a decision before the trade deadline where you want to be. If you're winning a lot, you probably just hold and maybe even you add someone. But if your season is like what 3 and I don't know what the record would be, 11 or 3-10 or whatever it would be, uh, then yeah, I would just consider moving players and retooling.
Yeah, the one thing that I didn't want to do with this team was being caught holding the bag with some of my running backs, and obviously George Kittle still has good years left in him, but um, I felt that my team wasn't going to be able to contend to that level within the
Yeah,
next coming years, so
yeah, and
that's why I made
that's
a
what a
deal.
lot of people don't realize. They hold on to these players. They get emotional with them because they've had them for a while. They maybe even drafted them, and they love them, which I understand. But if your team's not good or it's just mid, and you have a George Kittle who's 32, not saying your team isn't good, but he's 32, and then it's like, okay, you don't see yourself winning in 2 to 3 years, you got to move off of him, or else you're just wasting his value.
Yeah, and for me, George Kittle is one of my favorite players in real life. I've had him since the beginning of his career. He was part of our startup draft. I took him, and he's obviously been a key contributor for my three titles. But at some point, you just have to be able to say that, hey, we had a good run, and I need to get something out of you while I still can.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of times, like those older players, older running backs, whatever, you're not going to get first round picks. So you got to be willing to be like, hey, what can I get? At least get something. So second round pick plus, I mean, whatever
Yeah.
whatever you can do. A lot of times, the best offer you're gonna get is the best offer you're gonna get. Obviously, you're not gonna accept like peanuts for them, but like if it's within the
Yeah.
range of possibility, it's still not great. You might just have to take it because some value is better than no value at some point.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Now let's go find a rebuilding team. One that we both kind of agreed on that should be rebuilding is Team Renegade 77.
Yeah, yep, I agree.
Um, Oop, that was the wrong team. There we go. I mean, they have JJ McCarthy. Uh, he's a good dynasty QB to hold on to. Cam Scattaboo, Ted McMillan.
I
Those
would
are
say
decent
the
pieces, but yeah, Aaron, go ahead.
I would say the bright spot of this team, and this is definitely, I mean, granted, her picks, her first round picks haven't always panned out here, and she's had kind of bad luck with the injuries, but the way she has started to rebuild this team by going and getting JJ McCarthy, Bryce Young, that's at least very promising two players there. Obviously, Bryce Young didn't start the way you wanted, but he looked fairly good last year, like he was improving. And
Yeah,
JJ McCarthy with obviously the big injury. And then in this year's draft, Tet falls to her. And I think that was a really good pick there. Just let the draft come to you and build out that wide receiver core that desperately needs help.
yeah, and the same thing happened with the second round pick of Cam Scattaboo. He just kind of fell in her lap. He's best player available. Might as well take him. That's kind of what you got to do when you're in this spot.
Yeah, and while you don't want to get running back assets in your like, your first couple years of rebuilding, but if the value's there, you might as well take him. Because what if, just say, Cam Scattaboo turns out to be like, I'm trying to think of a comparable running back. Just say like a James Cook career path so far.
Or like David Montgomery, where he's like just goal line and like can hammer it in basically. Gives you a lot of touchdowns, maybe like
Yeah.
70 yards, whatever.
And the reason I said James Cook is because he's one of those guys who's not a top running back. He's not up there with your Bijans and Gibbs, but he's one of those guys who, if you look to trade him right now, you could probably make more value than what you did with your draft selection.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if the talent's there, you might as well take it.
Yeah, and that's for sure. I would say though, it's still a rebuilding team. You probably should look at moving Saquon Barkley like as soon as you can, or at least when you think his value is high. Cause and Mark Andrews and probably Stephon Diggs, but those three guys, they're aging. They've got some value right now. I would
Yeah.
look at moving them.
Yeah, Saquon Barkley for sure. You should be able to get a first and maybe a player with that. He is 28, but he did not look 28. I mean, obviously he was 27 last year, but he did not look like he was a older running back. Obviously he had a career year too.
Yeah. I mean, but like right now, you could get for sure a first and second, maybe like a first and a late first for Saquon to a contending team right now.
Yeah,
So, and
yeah,
Diggs, you'd just be happy with a second round pick for Diggs, Mark Andrews, maybe a
probably.
late first, second round pick for him.
I would probably say a second round pick, and I would
Yeah.
be happy with that. Because
Yeah.
if you even click on his profile, there's rumors that he's going to be traded from the,
Yeah.
um, yeah. So
From the
it's
Ravens. Yeah.
it's a tough situation with the Andrews.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'd say, yeah, this is just your classic rebuilding team. Need to keep going, especially you got the QBs, maybe, and you got, yeah, Matt Stafford could be a trade piece for you. Aaron Rodgers could be a trade piece for you. I'd try to move them this year for sure to a team that
Yeah,
maybe wants to contend and needs an extra QB or something.
yeah, and with them again, I mean, if you can get a second round pick for them, great. But with Rodgers, I would almost be fine with a like 2/3 or something
Oh yeah,
just to get him off the books. Like
two
that's
thirds and or just like a third and a developmental player of some sort that you think has some upside or something like that.
yeah.
So
And while we're talking about the roster here, something I wanted to bring up for the rebuilding team is you need to keep churning the waiver wire. If you can land anybody from the waiver wire that's worth anything, that is absolutely huge.
yeah,
Because I know we talked about your team. You got Brock Purdy from free agency, and look what happened with him. I mean,
yeah.
if you
Like
can just get anyone of value, that's absolutely huge.
Nico Collins picked him up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of others, but yeah, that's true. Yeah, so yeah, trade your aging assets if you're rebuilding, and yeah, just keep it up, I guess. Um, Now we'll go through every team and just give a quick rebuild, contend, house money, what we
Okay.
think they should do.
Do you just want to start in like by division?
Yeah, we'll start in the north with Pastor Prime. Obviously, I think contend for this one.
Yeah, I would agree.
Um, Now I know he said he wants to do a competitive rebuild. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I know what he means by that, but like in the terms of fantasy, you're kind of either all in or not, except if you're doing house money where you got some young assets that could pop off, but you just don't know.
Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah.
I would say you go all in and see what you can do. But
Yeah, for his situation, you might as well go all in because you see a lot of guys on the team like Cooper Cup, Kelsey, Hopkins.
Aaron
Um,
Jones, Joe Mixon,
yep,
um,
yep.
Derrick Henry.
AJ Brown to an extent, I guess. He's still got quite a few years on him, but
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, you could be like, hey, I'm not going to win it all with this team, although that I don't think that's the smartest decision. But you could say that and be like, okay, I'm going to flip the switch. You trade Derrick Henry away, you trade Mixon, you trade AJ Jones or Aaron Jones, David Montgomery, even
yeah,
trade AJ Brown. Like, that could be a route you go, but I think the best one is just to try to contend again. But next year, good luck trying to sell Derrick Henry. Good luck trying to
yeah,
sell Mixon. Good luck trying to sell Aaron Jones. Like,
yeah. Cup, like Hopkins is pretty much already not.
yeah, not an option. Yeah,
Yeah. So that is one thing you have to consider with a contending team is do you want to take that risk of, hey, if I don't win it all, I'm gonna lose some major value on my team.
yeah, yep, yep. And then let's
So
go to Saucy Spaghetti. Well, first let's see. Consensus. Pasture Prime is contend.
yes, yep, I would agree.
Okay. Saucy Spaghetti. It's an
Yeah, so
interesting team. Go ahead.
with Saucy's team, I would say this is a house money team. If you look at his team, it's still pretty young. I mean, he's got Debo Samuel and a couple other guys that are kind of up
Ingram.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you look at his team, I mean, T. Higgins is still I mean, he's 26, so he still has a little bit. Chase Brown is I I don't know how many he's been in the league for 2 years, but he could be one of those guys who you could still have a couple years from now. Doesn't have much tread on the tires. Tyler Warren, obviously just drafted.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this team, and he has two first round picks, which I think is very important here.
Yeah. And he's got Cam Ward and Joe Burrow, which could be up there with the best QBs to have, depending on how Ward does.
Yeah, yep. And
So,
I could also see, you don't make a move, and I think you're fine with that this year. Obviously, he's not contending, but I could also see this as a rebuilding team
yeah.
where I look at it.
I would probably just put it in the house money. but lean rebuild kind of. So like you just don't make any moves. You got two firsts next year. You might as well just, I don't know, unless a good offer comes your way, you might as well just keep your guys that are good and young, and maybe look at trading Debo, maybe look at trading Michael Pittman or Evan Ingram. But you got the two firsts, so you're gonna get two top picks or two at least first round quality picks. Might as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I agree with that.
yep. We already did Renegades. Let's go to Juggernaut JSS. I
Yep.
would say he's probably in a contending window right now, but I honestly, this would be the team I would go rebuild right now. Uh,
Y-
yeah,
yeah. Um. Yeah, and honestly, I mean, you could say contend, but just with his running backs, it's like, I mean, I'm a little concerned there. Kamara showed his age, although he had a pretty good season this last season.
yeah,
Uh,
decent. He got injured, but he's starting to get injured. Same with McCaffrey. Like when he's out there, he's really good. It's just he's 29. He's got a lot of touches. He's been injured quite a bit. So
yeah, and did he tear his ACL or was it an Achilles injury?
no, he had that tendonitis or whatever it was that Cup had, nerve damage, something like that.
Uh,
So yeah, that took him out.
Achilles and knee injuries.
Yeah. But yeah, I
Mm.
mean, you got Baker and you got Sam Darnold, Anthony Richardson. That's a shaky core. Maybe you look to like if you go rebuild, maybe you look to trade Baker and get some value for him, and then with that pick, you can try to upgrade your QBs. I mean, get rid of McCaffrey. You would probably get rid of Jacobs. You would probably get rid of Godwin, Kamara, DK Metcalf, maybe even Kenneth
Yeah.
Walker.
Yeah, and the interesting part for this team is I think it's definitely a playoff team, there's no doubt about it, but it's in that situation where it's like, man, you're a playoff team, but I don't think that you can make the run to the
Yeah,
postseason or through the postseason.
yeah, it doesn't seem like that, and especially like let's say Kamara goes down with an injury, you don't have that second good QB, and you if what like one of your players just like Kamara goes down, who are you gonna replace him with? Okay, maybe Matthew Golden, but he's a rookie, so you don't know right now. Um,
Yeah.
maybe Jerome Ford, but he might just be beaten by Dylan Sampson. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting position to be in.
Yeah,
Um,
final verdict. I would lean rebuild on this team.
I would say maybe give it one more shot at contend, but you need to tear this thing down next off season.
Yeah, and we already did my team, so let's go to rotation station. This is a interesting team, full of young talent, for sure, and still has a decent war chest of picks for next year. So
I would say clearly house money.
clearly, house money. Yeah, like maybe you try to get something for Dak Prescott, but honestly, if you don't, it's just whatever. You just wherever you fall is where you fall, and that's kind of the way it is, especially with all that young talent. Like you're probably set up for to be good within the next couple of years. So
Yeah. Yep.
the thing that's
And
scary though about it is a lot of that young talent is running back. So Henderson, R.J. Harvey, you got Swift, you got Rico Dowdle, you got Tootin, you got Brooks there. I mean, a lot of
Tank
it's in that
Bigsby,
running back, but what was that?
yeah, Tank Bigsby, I guess, is another one
Oh
of
yeah,
note.
Tank Bixby. Yeah, so it is a little scary, but also they're all young, so it's probably fine. I would say just
Yeah,
house money for this team is my verdict.
I would agree.
All right, we'll go to Love Hurts. This one So I would say a rebuilding team.
Yep, I would make that assessment as well. Um, as far as making moves for this team, you could probably look at James Conner being the big one that you point the finger at, maybe an in-season type of trade.
Yeah,
Adam Thielen,
yeah,
yeah,
Hawkinson, Pollard. Um,
yeah.
if Joe
He has a
Flacco gives you any value, get rid of him. Like,
Yeah, you should be looking for any sort of value for some of these older players.
yeah,
I think if you can get anything, you're happy with that. Has a very good QB room though. That's a very, very nice start to have for this team.
yeah. You know, one critique of it is there's a lot of Packers players on this team, so
Yeah, and never
that's
want to
kind of
load up.
limiting your
Mhm.
roster spot slash output, I guess, if you have guys competing for targets, receptions, all that stuff. But yeah.
Yeah.
So final verdict on this one: keep rebuilding.
Yep, definitely.
Let's go to help. This one I would say is a contending team for sure.
Yeah, yeah, I would say contending, especially when you look at the running back room of Taylor and Cook, who I mentioned earlier.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, there's not much more to it. You got a lot of contending pieces like Jerry Judy, Pickens. Problem is with this team is, yeah, you got Amon Ra, but then all your other wide receivers I would put in the same camp of being like a wide receiver two to like they might be the wide receiver one on their team, but they're going to give you two production. So like Cortland Sutton, Pickens, Jordan Addison. I would probably put Jerry Judy in that category. He had a couple really good games, but I'd put him in that
Yeah.
category.
Yeah, with the Browns QB situation. Judy is not a player who can outperform a bad QB, like raise him up essentially.
Yeah, you know.
Um,
But yeah, I mean, you got Juwan Jennings, who's kind of in that same Brandon Ayuk. Like, yeah, you do not. You kind of need a more top end wide receivers, but it's like, where are you going to get
yeah,
them? So
yeah, a superstar player would probably do wonders for this team.
yeah, like at least one more would probably
Yeah,
make it really good. Uh, I mean, you get running backs. You got Taylor Cook. That's pretty good. I mean, you brought in Caleb Johnson, who's got a lot of upside. I'm not as high on him, but I think he could be really good with the Steelers.
yeah, yep,
So, and I mean, your two QBs, you got Herbert and Penix, and then you got probably Daniel Jones as your next guy. That's shaky for sure.
yeah, yeah.
It's
You
not the
probably would
worst
want,
situation, but shaky. Yeah.
and this might be kind of a hot take. I would look to move off of Herbert for a different quarterback.
Yeah.
That's probably a hot take, but um, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, he did good week 16 through 18, but the rest of the like the Chargers are going to be a run first offense. So, yeah, I don't know what else you do. I mean, yeah, I mean, you got some decent though running backs waiting. You got Tyrone Tracy, who he is a weird running back to have right now because you just don't know what's going to happen there.
yeah,
And then Jordan Mason, I think, is going to be a sleeper for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
Um,
could end up getting more carries than we think with Jones ahead of him.
yeah, I'd for sure call this a contending team. Now let's go to Journeyman lead the way.
Yep.
And this one needs to rebuild, I
Yeah, it's
think.
pretty plain and simple. If you look at one thing too is he's got too many Rams on his team. Like
Yeah, way too many.
his four or no, three of his top four players are Rams. So
Yeah. Yep.
yeah,
Um, Not much more we can say. Rebuild. Yeah, and you can look
yeah,
to trade. Devontae Adams for sure. Pacheco. Yeah, I'd look to make some moves there.
Yeah, yeah. One thing that's interesting is Ricky Pearsall, but
Yeah,
um,
he's dealing with a hamstring, which is scary for wide receivers and running backs. Those can be
yeah.
nagging injuries. So
Would you look to trade Lamar Jackson from this team, just real quick?
honestly, the thing is, Lamar Jackson is what gets him into the playoffs, but he's not going to get far if all he has is Lamar Jackson and Puka and stuff. So
Yeah,
I would probably look to trade him. You can get a haul for him. So
yeah. Maybe look to trade both quarterbacks there.
yeah, yep,
But
uh,
yeah, I agree. Rebuild. Yep.
yep. Rebuild. Jaden Daniels fan club. I would say house money, but
Yeah, I would absolutely say. Well, they don't have their first round pick this upcoming season.
yeah,
So
maybe
that is,
you look at moving Terry Mack and Jacoby Myers or something.
yeah. Um, yeah, I would expect more of a down year from McLaurin just because the touchdowns, I don't think that was repeatable.
Yeah.
But
There's also a chance of regression for Jaden Daniels' sophomore season. Like, they had the tapes out there on him.
I think you could probably I think this is a playoff team if you leave it as is, but I
Yeah.
don't think they're gonna do anything in the playoffs. So yeah, I would probably agree house money there.
I will say Daniels and Bo Nix are probably like top five dynasty QB assets to have right now. So that's like really good.
And having Russ and Show as your third and fourth guys, I
Yeah.
think that's one of the better QB rooms in the league for sure.
Yeah. The moment J.K. Dobbins has any value, I would trade him.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
I would look at trading Goddard. But yeah, I mean, yeah, house money. Do what you can.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, let's go to the last team on the list, Bjorgen, and this is a rebuilding team.
Yep. I mean, he's got players on his team who are frisky, who definitely could be contenders, but yeah, I would agree.
Yeah,
Rebuilding.
I mean, you could argue for trading literally anyone on this team. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I would
I mean,
say,
Genty, like, I you could build a team around him. He's young enough.
yeah,
You could definitely rebuild your team around him.
yeah, yep. I mean, I'd look at getting rid of Moore. I would look at getting rid of Evans, maybe even
Yeah.
Breeze. Definitely
Yeah.
Javante. Like, yeah,
Hunter Henry, if he has any value.
yeah. I mean, if
Um,
you make it, you could make some moves with this team. So,
yeah. Yep.
and you could probably drop Noah Gray. Just saying.
Yeah, probably should have taken a certain offer for him while he had the chance, but
Yeah, I hear there's some offers out for some players. You might want to consider those offers. Anyway, yeah, rebuild consensus.
yep.
Yep. Okay. Well, that's the end of this video. Rebuild versus contending versus house money. Hopefully, you learned something from it, and we will come back at you with another video in the future.